I started to book exchanges in 2023 to 2024 with friends, and this book exchange idea was inspired by a TikTok I saw. I've talked about 7 books that we exchanged with each other, and today I just want to talk about a few more books that we've exchanged with each other. But one thing I will say before I delve into that, oh my gosh, me saying delve makes me remember a post I saw online that talked about how one of the words they used to know people who use ChatGPT is the word delve, and how people who are delvers are now being accused of being ChatGPTers. So let this video be proof of the fact that if I ever use delve in an essay or in a writing, it's just a word that comes naturally to me. Before I get into it, I'm just going to talk about how since creating this sort of mini book club, we've been able to expand our reading taste. One of my good friends does not touch fantasy, and I've made her read a few fantasy books. As she finished reading all of them, no, but she has touched it and she has gone, okay, maybe this genre is truly, truly not for me. And I also have been able to touch a few other genres, or genres. Before we get into all that, I would just say welcome to Based on Faith, where I talk about books based on my faith in Christ. Alright, so the first book, or the 8th book, because I talked about 7 books in my first video, is The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea. So here's the book, The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea. You see the cover is so gorgeous. And this book is one that Kay sent to me. It's by Axio. And the book is a fantasy book, but more specifically Korean mythology based. It's a young adult book. And I had very high hopes for this book. I'm sorry, but I judge my books by their covers. That's the first thing I see. And so when I see a very gorgeous, wonderful cover like this, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm about to eat. A quick synopsis is, this is the story of Mina. Our homeland has been ravaged for generations by deadly storms, and our townspeople are trying to appease the sea god. The sea god was once their protector, but now he's oppressing them. And so in order to appease him, they throw a beautiful maiden into the sea, in the hopes that one day one of those maidens will be his true bride and that she will end the suffering. And so in this generation, Shim Chong is the most beautiful girl in the village, and she's Mina's older brother's beloved. Mina's older brother is called June, and she's his beloved, and Shim Chong is believed to be the legendary true bride. So on the night Chong is meant to be sacrificed, June follows Chong out to sea, and Mina follows her brother out, and so she throws herself into the sea in order to save Chong. And so Mina gets swept away into the sea realm, and this sea realm is a magical city with lesser gods, mythical beasts, and here Mina seeks out the sea god only to find that he is in an enchanted sleep. And so a mysterious young man who is named Shin, she also finds him there, and then there are just a crew of spirits, gods, demons. And so Mina sets out to awaken the sea god and bring an end to the storms that is ravaging the people of our homeland. But the thing is, she doesn't have much time to do this because as a human being, she can't stay in the spirit realm for too long. And there are also people who don't want him to wake up. That is the sea god. There are folks who don't want him to wake up and that they will do anything. So she's battling time and she's battling very powerful spiritual entities. And so this story is kind of like the story of how she goes about saving the people of our homeland. And I will say that overall, the story, I gave it 3 stars, but Kay gave it 2 stars. And this is just because I was slightly disappointed. I feel like with the setup, there was so much more that could have been done with the setup we had. It had potential for so much more, but there was a lot of world building that fell by the side. World building left a lot to be desired. The world could have been built a lot better, and then with the world building we had, we could have delved into it a bit more. I think typically fantasy, it's just safer to have 2 books with fantasy. Have one of the book going to deep world building and the other one going to deep character building if it's just 2. And if it's more, just you're able to do more with world building when it's more books when it comes to fantasy. Summary, a bit disappointing read. And then the next book is Your Blood, My Bones. I don't have a copy of this. I sent a copy of this to O. I read it and I sent it to O. I sent my copy to O because I don't think between us, we need more than one copy. This book is fantasy horror-ish. It's a YA fantasy horror-esque book, and it's the story of Westlock. She recently inherited a childhood home after her father's sudden passing, and she's returning to burn it down to the ground and move on with her life. And there she finds Peter. Peter was once her best friend, but she finds him there chained and left for dead. My review of this book, I'm just going to read it out and I'm going to post it here as well. The premise seemed very interesting, and that's why I picked it up without looking much into the review / the plots. The story tells us that this is a high stakes situation, but it doesn't read like that. I really enjoyed the premise, but I believe much more can be done with it. I was quite confused a few times through my read. I didn't feel much in the sense that I didn't have much emotions invested in this book. It felt like a fever dream, strange, bizarre, with very little recollection of what exactly happened. The story is missing something. Might be better world building, and the character development for Peter and Wyatt was great, but the other characters not so much. I'm writing this review less than an hour after finishing the book, and I'll be sending it to my friend to see what she thinks. I think she read like 40 pages of it and she was like, yeah, Faith, I don't know what you sent to me, but no. And I feel slightly justified. And I gave it 3 stars, but honestly, I'm rethinking my 3 stars because I've had better 3-star rates. So I think I ended up giving it like 2 stars. After writing this, I went back there and I was like, no, you don't deserve 3 stars. I'll give you 2 stars. So I gave it 2 stars. The next book here is Aces of Spades. Aces of Spades. Here's the book. It's by Farida Abike Imide. This book is one that I sent to it's YA mystery, and I haven't gotten around to reading this yet, but said it was an okay book. It wasn't like the best book she's ever read, but it also wasn't like a terrible book that she couldn't finish. I think she finished it within a day, 1 to like 3 days. She can correct me on that. Here's a quick synopsis of this book. An incendiary and utterly compelling thriller with a shocking twist that delves deep into the heart of institutionalized racism from an exceptional new YA voice. Welcome to Nuvius Private Academy, where money paves the hallways and the students are never less than perfect. Until now, because anonymous texter Aces is bringing 2 students' dark secrets to light. I need to read this one of these days, especially since I sent it to someone. But the next book I'll be talking about is Pachinko. Pachinko is the one that that has an Apple TV series. I haven't watched the Apple TV series, and I honestly need to read this book one of these days because sent it to me and she loved this book and she was like, oh my gosh, I want to see what Faith thinks of Pachinko as well. And I just never got around to reading it. I read 1 chapter, I honestly have no excuse at this point. I read 1 chapter. The 1 chapter I read was good. And then I was like, I'll continue with chapter 2 tomorrow. And tomorrow just never came. I feel terrible, honestly. Like, my read of it is way, 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 way overdue. Here's the next book, Commission the Awakening by Susan Valles. It was one that Kay sent to me. It's a Christian YA dystopian book. I love this book and I have a full review of it on my channel. I'm going to link it up here somewhere. But a quick synopsis. 1,000 years have passed and books have become banned. That is something like reality at this point with the state of things. But 1,000 years have passed. Books have been banned and the memory of reading has faded into legend. A girl is trying to bring the most important book ever written back into the world. And this is the story of Tiana, our main protagonist, and Rue, who are journeying into their world to rediscover Olam and his son as they embark on their mission. I won't say too much about this. I gave it 5 stars because it was a good read and I have a full review of it. So if you want to know more of my thoughts on this book, you can go watch my review. So next book is My Mechanical Romance. My Mechanical Romance is by Alexine Farrell Formalt. I think this is our YA pen name, and for our more adult books, she uses Olivia Blake. I can't recall which. I've never read any of our more adult books, but this is one I sent to Kay. I sent it to her because she's a mechanical engineer, and she called it an averagely good book based off of Wattpad standards. I don't even know what that means, but she was just like, it felt like a good Wattpad book, like a book I would enjoy, based off of Wattpad standards. And she actually went ahead to read another book by this author. We both gave this book 4 stars. Mine was 3.5 stars rounded up, and there were lots of relatable moments. A quick synopsis of this book, though. Belle would rather die than think about the future. College apps, you're funny. Extracurriculars, not a chance. But when she accidentally reveals a talent for engineering at school, she's basically forced into joining the robotics club. Even worse, all the boys ignore Belle, and Neelam, the only other girl on the team, doesn't even seem to like her either. That happens a lot. That happens a lot. Um, Enter Matteo Luna, captain of the club, who recognizes Belle as a potential asset until they start butting heads. Belle doesn't care about nationals while Theo cares too much. But as the nights of after school work grow longer and longer, Belle and Theo realize that they've made more than just a combat ready robots. For the championship, they've made each other and the team better. Because girls do belong in STEM. It's a very sweet love letter to like girls in STEM, and I really enjoyed it. It was a good book. Yeah, I gave it 4 stars. It was a good book. It was a very enjoyable, simple read. It also was like a good palate cleanser. After reading like a lot of like heavy books. So those are the how many books? Let's see. So those are the 6 books I'm going to be discussing in this video of the books I've exchanged with my friends. As I mentioned earlier, I think there are about like 6 more books because in total I've received 9 books and I've sent 10 books. But yeah. Thank you for staying to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed making it, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye. Wait, before I say bye, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can get notified when I post new videos. If you're interested in watching more videos of me talk about books I read, which include Christian books, self-help books, and just other like good fiction reads. And if you've read any of the books I talked about in this video, please let me know what you thought of it in the comment section. I really look forward to like hearing your thoughts on the books. If you hated any of the books I enjoyed, let me know. Reading 1-star reviews of books I enjoyed is a way I torture myself, but do let me know. And if you enjoyed any of the books I didn't particularly enjoy, also let me know. And with that, I'll say thank you for staying till the end of this video. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.